Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to my review of tonight's edition of Smackdown. And happy Halloween to all of you out there. Hope you had a good Halloween. Hope you all were safe out there today, trick-or-treating. But yeah, so let's get on with the Smackdown review. I thought tonight's Smackdown, I thought it was a fun, enjoyable show. I mean, it was the Halloween edition of Smackdown, and I thought it was a very enjoyable, fun show. I thought it was a lot better than Raw last night. I'd say it was also much better than last week's SmackDown, which last week was just the uneventful, boring show it was last week. But the show opened up with tonight. Opened with Shane McMahon coming out, saying that at Survivor Series, SmackDown will go head-to-head with Raw. And he goes on to say SmackDown took Raw under siege because Raw looked at SmackDown like it was the inferior brand. And he goes on to say that the one thing that could change the perception is, they ended up, putting Daniel Bryan in charge as GM of SmackDown. They went live. They go live every Tuesday, and he says it wasn't quite enough for them. So he ends up saying the best way that they could change this perception was to go to Raw, have him and the SmackDown roster go to Raw, and put them under siege like they did last week, like they did last Monday on Raw. And he also mentions about Daniel Bryan going to Raw last night, and he says that Daniel Bryan was being disrespected, and says that Kurt and Stephanie didn't care because Daniel Bryan was, of course, locked in the room last night, and he got attacked by Kane. So, and then Shane says there's going to be hell to pay for that, and so he says that at Survivor Series. He tells Shane says to Kurt, to bring Braun Strowman and his other superstars, and Shane is going to meet them in their ring with Randy Orton and 3 other superstars. And Shane also announces that he's going to be the team captain of Team SmackDown. So that's pretty good. So, but it was a good opening segment with Shane, just talking about Survivor Series and how Team SmackDown is going to bring their A game to take on Team Raw at Survivor Series in 3 weeks. So, and then we get on to the first match of the night. It was Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Whoever wins this match gets to be one of the participants for Team SmackDown at Survivor Series. And this match was very enjoyable. It was a good 2 out of 3 falls match. We had Dolph Ziggler score the first fall. He ended up hitting Bobby Roode with a super kick. And it was basically just back and forth between the match between Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Then we saw Bobby Roode tie it up because the match led right into the commercial, where they play the commercial and they have, what's going on the left side of the screen. So during the commercial, Bobby Roode ended up tying up the match with slingshotting Dolph into the post, and eventually Bobby Roode pinned him, and so it ended up being tied 1-1. And then we had Bobby Roode win the match with the glorious DDT on Dolph to score the win, to score the last fall. And so now Bobby Roode is heading to Survivor Series as part of Team SmackDown, which is awesome. So, but all in all, it was an enjoyable 2 out of 3 falls match. Just Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler gave it their A game during the match. It was back and forth between them. And then after that, we saw New Day backstage. They were dressed up. Xavier was dressed up as Jimmy Hart. Kofi Kingston was dressed up as Brother Love, and Biggie was dressed up as Akeem, the African Dream, Akeem from I think it was One Man Gang, that's what they called it back in the day. It was before my time of watching WWE, and they're walking and they get approached by Aiden English and Rusev. Rusev says, Halloween is a dumb holiday for little children, and that there is only one holiday that matters, and he says, oh, it's Rusev Day, and then you get Aiden English just singing, Rusev Day, like that. So it was pretty much that little backstage segment with them. Though a lot of people might say that New Day, dressing up like those, oh, it's so, it might be racist. So, but I know that's what people will probably say about that. Though, but it was fun. New Day seemed like, they were having fun, as always. Then after that backstage segment, we also go backstage and we see the SmackDown Women's Division there, and Becky's just giving them a prep talk. Becky Lynch is giving them a prep talk and tells them that they are going to retaliate against the Team Raw of the Women's Division, and it's just Becky just giving them a prep talk. And then what was funny, we saw James Ellsworth with some sort of like girl's wig. It was funny though. And Natalya ends up coming and says that she is disappointed that she's not the team captain of SmackDown, of the SmackDown Women's Division, and that she says that she will be taking on Alexa at Survivor Series. Natalya says to Charlotte that if SmackDown loses at Survivor Series, she is going to blame it all on her. So it was just that backstage segment with them. Just Becky Lynch just giving the Team SmackDown a prep talk of the women's division, a prep talk. It was just that. And then it was supposed to be Sin Cara versus Baron Corbin. Match starts, but it ended up being a no contest because both of them just start brawling. It was a crazy brawl between Sin Cara and Baron Corbin. He had at one point where you saw Baron Corbin trying to take off Sin Cara's mask, and then they were just going at it outside. You saw Sin Cara throw Baron Corbin over the announce table. Sin Cara also threw like a chair at Corbin, and it pretty much led to Corbin retaliating, running to the back. He ran through the crowd, ran all the way to the back to get away from Sin Cara. So the match ended in a no contest because of that brawl that they had. So then after that, we had Renee Young interviewing the Usos about them heading to Survivor Series to face Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, and how they are preparing for that. And the Usos say to Renee that they are the A team of the they are the A team, and then that Raw is like the B brand, and they go on to say that at Survivor Series the Raw Tag Team division is on lockdown. And we see Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin come and say to the Usos that they end up talking to Shane, and next week they're going to have their opportunity at the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. So that's going to be next week, Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin versus the Usos for the Tag Team Championships. So that's going to be pretty entertaining to watch. So it was a good little decent, enjoyable interview with the Usos, and then you had Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin come. Then we had Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers come out. Jinder says last week he was very unfairly ejected from ringside last week, and he didn't really like that. And he goes on to say Lesnar should fear him, and he goes on to say the fear is setting in at Survivor Series. The Beast will be beaten and conquered, and Jinder will forever be known as the Beastmaster, as what he says. I'm like, Brock Lesnar's gonna destroy you at Survivor Series. There is no way Jinder could possibly, win this match at Survivor Series. Maybe he'll surprise us. You never know. But all I'm saying is Brock Lesnar's gonna destroy Jinder Mahal at Survivor Series. Then that eventually led to the match. It was AJ Styles versus Samir Singh. Last week, Styles faced Sunil Singh, and that was a pretty short match. And then this match tonight was just a short match also. It's pretty much a nothing match. You had Styles just decimating on Samir Singh, and he hit him with the Styles Clash to score the win. So it was pretty much nothing. And then you had, after the match, Jinder and Sunil Singh beat down Styles. Jinder tore Styles into the post, and Jinder started going outside, and he started bending Styles' back into the post, and he ended up hitting Jinder ended up hitting Styles with the Colossus. So that's what happened after the match. But pretty much Styles and Samir Singh was just a short match. It was nothing special or great. Then you had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn backstage. Owens says, Shane making himself team captain of SmackDown is, he didn't really like how that was going. And Sami says Shane didn't do nothing for him after Orton beat him down with a low blow. And Owens ends up telling Sami tonight that when he beats Nakamura, he's going to leave the victory for Team SmackDown over Raw. And that, after Survivor Series, it's going to be, just the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens show. So it was pretty much that backstage segment with them. Then we had Rusev versus Big E. This was a okay match. Wasn't perfect or great by any means, but it was back and forth between Rusev and Big E. Aiden English was at ringside along with he was out there along with Xavier and Kofi Kingston. There's at one point where Aiden English was getting involved. He was singing, and then you had Xavier come over with the trombone, and Aiden English got into the ring. Big E hit him with the big ending, and it eventually led to Rusev win the match, kicking Big E. Rusev kicked Big E in the back, so eventually laid out Big E, and Rusev won the match. So, but it was a okay match. Wasn't great or perfect by any means. Then after that, you had Renee Young interviewing Sin Cara about what happened earlier with Baron Corbin. Sin Cara says, sends a message to Corbin saying that he went through hell to get his mask, because Sin Cara was talking about the mask, and Baron Corbin was trying to to take it off of him. But he says that he went through hell to get his mask, and he went through hell to keep it. So just that little interview with Sin Cara. Then he had Aiden English visit Shane, and he tells Shane how is he enjoying this day, and Shane says, oh, he loves, I love Halloween, and Aiden's like, oh no, not that, holiday, and then Rusev ends up storming in and says Rusev Day, and Rusev then wants Shane to put him in Team SmackDown, and Shane tells him next week that if he beats AJ Styles, which is going to be Rusev versus AJ Styles, if Rusev beats Styles next week, he will be in Team SmackDown. So, pretty much says there, possibly Styles is probably going to win the match. So, but who knows? Then you had the main event, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens. Whoever wins this match gets to be in Team SmackDown at Survivor Series. And this was a good main event. This was a very enjoyable main event. It was back and forth between Nakamura and Owens. Nakamura was really good in the match, just taking out Kevin Owens. At one point you had Sami Zayn end up coming out and got involved where he was trying to protect Owens from Nakamura. Also, Randy Orton came out. He came out of nowhere, and then he just slammed Sami Zayn on the announcer table. Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura lays out Owens. He waits for Owens to get back up, and then he hits the Kinshasa on Owens to score the win. And so now Nakamura is gonna be on Team SmackDown at Survivor Series. So now we have Shane McMahon, who's the captain of Team SmackDown, and we got Bobby Roode and Shinsuke Nakamura. So now next week it's either going to be Styles or Rusev. With me, I'm going for Styles. I'm going for AJ Styles to win next week. So yeah. So anyways, like I said, Shinsuke Nakamura and Kevin Owens. It was a good match. It was a good main event. Very enjoyable main event. So yeah. So anyways, that's it for my review of tonight's edition of SmackDown. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and until next video, I'll see you all later.